Clippers had a slow first half, but rallied in the second to beat the Nuggets 124-111 last night. Paul George led all players with 27 points, and Lou Williams chipped in with 23 off the bench. Kawhi Leonard said after the game that their team goal is to, quote, get in better habits with less mistakes going forward. So, Shannon, from what you saw, how big of a threat are the Clippers to the Lakers?
Well, nothing changed for me. We expect the Clippers and the Lakers to meet in the Western Conference Final and the winner to actually win it all. I think everybody thinks that Milwaukee's probably going to come out the East, but it's the Clippers. I mean, you get some teams say Clippers, and I mean some people say Clippers, some people say Lakers, but really that's it. No one else has even received any votes of coming out of the West, one of these two teams. And they're going to probably need to beat the Mavericks and the Nuggets in order to face the Lakers, and the Lakers look like they're going to probably get Portland. But this is all about matchups. Do they have a guy that can bother Anthony Davis? And we haven't seen that yet. AD played extremely well against this team. He's going to probably need to bump his scoring average up and his rebounding up. He's going to have to become a James Worthy where his playoff average is higher than his regular season scoring average. So I'm thinking AD is going to probably need to be something like 30 and 13 as opposed to 26 and 9. And I believe he's capable of that, and LeBron is going to have to be LeBron. And in some moments, LeBron's going to probably have to give you 40 and 15. And that's going to, the other guy's going to have to make shots in order for that to happen, Skip. I thought both teams shot the ball poorly in the, early on. But if you go look
last night,
right, early on. But if you go back and look at the stats, Clippers shot 54%. The Nuggets shot almost 50%. Both shot about 37% from the floor. But the thing about the Clippers, Skip, is that they can come at you in waves. They're down by 8 points at the half, and with 6 minutes to go, they're up by 8. That just goes to show you. And then their bench. It was the second unit last night that gets them going. Lou Will is seemingly, he's finding a rhythm. He's coming down off the break in the corner and letting threes go. Everybody started to make threes last night. Paul George was playing well, was very active. So, Skip, I'm not surprised that the Clippers are playing like this. We know what they represent. There's no question they're the deepest team. Their second unit can start on a lot of teams. Lou Will could be a starter, but he likes playing the reserve role. Trent wasn't there, but he can be a starter. But the most impressive player for me, for the Clippers that's been in this bubble, is Zubac. Skip, he's been a monster.
Yeah.
He was 15 and 12 last night in 21 minutes.
Against Jokic.
Yeah. And what we've seen, he's been a double-double since he's been down in the bubble. And there's been an uptick in minutes. So what that tells me is that he's going to be playing major minutes in the playoffs. You say they got Noah. I don't see Noah getting a bunch of minutes unless it's a blowout or Big Zoob get in trouble. But for the most part, Skip, they got a deep team. They're going to be a tough out. Kawhi played well. Kawhi got frustrated. Kawhi human. Hold on, I got some little footage. I don't like to pull footage, Skip, but I want to show you something last night. Because had this been another guy that plays in that building, he plays upstairs. Look at this right here, Skip. Look at this. What's that? Is that leadership? Now, I know a guy.
It was a foul. He's getting held.
Really, Skip?
Bumped, ground.
Really, Skip?
It's a foul. He's saying, you're not going to call that?
If he'd had a 3 on the end of that 2, and he had done just that, because every chance you get, you show low lights. You constantly do the stuff that happened 3 years ago, Skip. You ought to be embarrassed, but you're not. But the Clippers are good. We knew they were good. They showed they were good. They showed they were depth. But let's be fair, Skip. What happened in the fourth quarter again? Mike Malone did what?
He pulled his starters.
Okay.
Okay. You done?
I'm done.
What I saw from the Los Angeles Clippers last night was awe-inspiring. I saw the Clippers fumble and stumble around and not get into it for a half and look up at the scoreboard and say, we're down 8. That's enough. Watch this. And in the third quarter, it was flexing all their firepower because when they decide to, they can blow you off the floor on both ends of the court. And that's what they did to Denver in the third quarter. They put up 40 in the third after they'd scored 26 and 24 in the first 2 quarters. They put a big old 40 on Denver.
Put a 40 spot.
And then they just kept piling it on as the starters were pulled through the fourth quarter for Denver. I give you that. But it was a tour de force of this is what this team is capable of when it flips its switch. And it flipped it last night because for what it's worth, the 2 seed was somewhat in jeopardy, and they said, No, we slammed the door on the Nuggets, and we opened the door for the Dallas Mavericks. So your man Luka gets his chance. He is the next Larry Bird, says Shannon.
Larry Legend.
Yeah, Larry Legend. So here you go.
Luka Legend.
First round against the Los Angeles Clippers. Here we go. What you got? Because you're going to get a big dose of Kawhi, and you're going to get bigger dose probably of Paul George, and here we go.
Well, Skip, here's the thing, though. Mike Malone wasn't concerned about the 2 seed because if he was, he would have kept his starters in against the Lakers in the fourth, and he just kept them in the fourth against the Clippers, right?
The handwriting was on
It wasn't no
the
handwriting.
arena wall.
No, it wasn't.
Because nothing else is on the wall except virtual fans.
Skip, the Lakers couldn't stop the second unit. And Mike Malone says, you know what, guys, you're done. Last night, again, they had a 2-point lead entering the fourth. As great, they hung. Hold on. The Clippers gave up, got 40, but they gave up 34. So if you give up 34 a quarter, that's still not very good, Skip Bayless. So this great defense that you're talking about.
Offensive firepower. They said, watch this. Paul George hit 3 threes in the third quarter, and Kawhi hit 4 out of 5 shots, and Lou Will went off. And as Doc said after the game, he is a baller. That's what Doc, Lou is a baller, and he's finally finding his rhythm.
But what about the defense that you were telling me about with the 2 great wing players?
When they decide, they'll just say,
so they
watch
didn't
this.
decide last night, huh?
Remember, there's no bulldog, there's no Pat Babs.
no.
Yep. The little pit bull, he had to sit over there with a little pulled calf and watch again. Watch, he'll be ready to go for Dallas.
How hurt is that calf if he out there jumping around?
Well, in the Damian...
he jumping around, he all up, and he talking to everybody. So how hurt is that calf?
It's not hurt enough for him not to be ready for the Dallas Mavericks.
It ain't hurt at all.
And I don't know what kind of shape Montrezl Harrell is in, but if he's in even decent shape, and he is driven, as Lou Will says, to either play for a contract or obviously for his late great-grandmother, you better watch out because he'll give you something against Dallas, and then he will be ready to roll through the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, Skip, I'm not worried about Trez. The thing is that the conditioning, and it's going to probably take by the second round for him to get in the kind of shape that he needs for him to be the force that they know he can be. It's hard for you to maintain a level of fitness when you're not doing the sport that you actually play. You know, people, I'm in great shape. But how many times do you have the football in your arm? How many times do you have a helmet and shoulder pads on? So you have to do those things to get in that kind of shape that you need to be. Well, Lou Will, and Trey, excuse me, Skip, I understand he was grieving, but he wasn't on the court going up and down and picking and hustling and diving on the floor for loose balls. So that's going to come, his conditioning will come as they advance into the playoffs. But we know what they represent because they have 10 men. They're going to probably go 9 deep. They're going to probably go 9 deep. In the playoffs, and they have a luxury that very few NBA teams have, is that they have Lou, they have Trez, they have JaMychal, they have Shamit, they have guys that can go get buckets. You know, Lou Will can go get 40. Trez can give you 30 and 10, 30 and 12. Shamit can get hot and go get you 20. So they have guys, and you throw in Paul George. Paul George has been an all-star. Paul George has been an all-NBA player. We know what Kawhi represents. So, yeah, they have firepower. No question about that, Skip. But we got them over 2 big firemen, and they're ready to put out all 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your Lakers in the bubble, I've seen flashes of brilliance and dominance, but only a flash here and a flash there because mostly I haven't seen the #1 seeded Lakers.
Let me ask you a question. With Lightning, it don't just boom for 30 seconds, do it. It just boom, and they doing damage, right? So you saw the flashes.
What are they, 2 and 4?
No, we 3. We 3 and 3. We 3 and 4. 3 and 4. We're about
Not
to be 4
impressive.
We've been 4 and 4. Hold on, Skip.
Every offensive stat that I see in the bubble, the Lakers are at the bottom of the barrel.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, who's the #1 seed in the Western Conference?
Well, you earned that 6 months ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So
that was a season ago. This is a new deal. This is a sprint to the finish, and all of a sudden, it looks like LeBron's a little slow out of the gate.
Watch tonight, Sacramento. We're going to do this thing to sack time.
I hope LeBron doesn't do the thing.
Why?
Do you think he's going to play?
Why not?
No, you better rest. He's an old man.
What rest for what,
This is
Skip?
the end of year 17.
That ain't got nothing to do
He's
with
what, 39?
35.
Oh, 35.
I mean, Skip, if he doesn't play tonight, so the last play would have been Tuesday. So off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
You don't play again till Monday? We don't. No, Skip, we need rhythm.
So my only concern is, I know there was a shot last night. I believe it was on ESPN. I was watching the local Clippers telecast with Chauncey Billups, who does a great job as they're
Play-by-play.
commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
the color guy.
Color guy. So the ESPN had a shot that I saw on SportsCenter very early this morning of Kawhi walking up the ramp at halftime, and he was really limp. There he is right there. He's limping because he's got arthritic knees. But in the second half, did he limp back onto the court? No. He just was all over the place. Watch him intercept. Woo! Look at that man. He's a whirling dervish. That doesn't look like arthritic.
All I know, if that had been LeBron, he'd have flushed it on Jokic. If that had been LeBron, he'd have flushed it.
Oh, he didn't need to flush it. He rubbed it in more. He just said, I'll just lay this lefty off the glass just to humiliate you.
You remember what LeBron did to Jokic when he got one like that? He don't know lefty.
So I'm a little concerned about his knees, but he showed you in the third quarter, he's just okay.
Hold on, talk about it. I remember last year we had this very same conversation, JD, and I said his knee, ain't nothing wrong with him. Ain't nothing wrong with Kawhi.
Well, I said all through the playoffs, he's complaining about his knees because I think they're legitimately bad.
No, you're right. He's faking. He's
no,
a
I didn't say
faker.
he's faking.
Yeah, because you say, oh, he quit on your team. That's the same excuse he used when he quit on my team.
He definitely quit on my team.
No, he didn't. He was hurt.
I forgive, but I don't forget.
Hold on. So he wasn't hurt then, but he's hurt now.
Well, you see him limping? Unless he's going to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt used to limp back to the huddle every play, and he'd go for 8 yards the next play and 10 yards the next play. You know how that goes. So maybe he's just setting you up for the fall here.
Set me up how? We know what Kawhi represents. But if LeBron were to do that, oh, LeBron, shake it off. You're 6'9", 260.
He deserves
Michael Jordan
to
would
do
have
that.
never. Michael Jordan would have never limped.
He never limped.